Nation, it is day 54. It is day 54, that's right. We have 16 days to go. Not a lot of time left. We gotta put the pedal to the metal and go as hard as possible. Okay? All right. I'm gonna get to more of your questions here. This person writes, I am planning to go out for dinner with friends on Friday. We'll be eating pasta. I know, parentheses, I know, not a good choice, but I've made it and it's happening. Knowing that my dinner will be carb and fat heavy and that it would likely be over my carb and fat daily macros, do you recommend that earlier in the day I consume very minimal carbs and fat in anticipation of dinner? If possible, please answer before Thursday. Luckily, it's Wednesday night. So hopefully this is early enough for you. This is a good question. So if you'd asked me this any other time, I would have said no. But like if you'd asked me any other challenge before, for sure you're going to overconsume fat. Like 100% you are. And carbs, yeah, especially at this point in the challenge, yes. So yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to do. It's not the habit that I want to create. That's the thing. I don't want you to get in this habit, which is why I don't want to recommend it. I don't want you to get in the habit of like, well, I'll have this cheat meal later on the day, so I'll just restrict myself, throughout the day. Like you've got to think about, and I realize that in this case we're just talking about one time, which is not a big deal. But you don't want to make a habit of this because you want to make sure that you know what your macros are, and obviously you're not going to know what your macros are. You're just going to have this big meal, and it will be an overconsumption of fat and most likely carbohydrates. So just don't make it a habit. And for this day, yeah, I'd probably do that. Okay. I'm at a weight and shape that I am generally pleased with, but would like to further reduce my body fat percentage. Can you lose fat and gain muscle at the same time? All right, so there's kind of two. Okay, so you're asking you want to reduce your body fat percentage. So you don't have to lose body fat to lower your body fat percentage because it's a body fat percentage, which means all you have to do is add muscle. So if you keep your body fat exactly the same, and you add some muscle, your body fat percentage will go down. Okay, so now if you were to lose body fat and add muscle, then yeah, you're really going to see a huge change in your body fat percentage. But that's hard to do, okay? And you're either super genetically gifted or you're new to training, okay? Or you don't have that much experience in training, or you haven't trained very intensely. Okay, like once you've exhausted, like once you've been in the gym for a while training and you've gone through all these different measures of intensity, it's hard to kind of, continue to put muscle on and be in a calorie deficit. It's highly unlikely that you'll put on muscle, okay? So, unless you use steroids or something, okay, which I don't recommend. So, and I don't think that you're obviously going to do that. So, really, what I would say to you is to try to maintain your body fat percentage, depending on what it is. I should say that, and try to build some muscle. Okay, but for guys, generally speaking, and this varies from individual to individual. Like a lean guy is going to be in that 8 to 14% range. That's pretty lean. And for some people that just won't even work. Like you won't feel good. Like I don't think personally I feel good at 8% body fat. Okay, I'd probably need to be more like 10 or 11 to feel like just normal. Okay, so depending on where your body fat is, when it comes to you, this person, I don't really know what your body fat percentage is. I can't remember. But in your case, given that I know some other things about you, I would suggest just trying to add some muscle mass. Right? And of course, I'm saying that because you told me that you want to. So I wouldn't worry about your fat. Just worry about putting on muscle. Okay, after the challenge, that is. All right. more. I had some cardio activities with friends planned this week, hikes and walks and driving range. So I was short on time and had fewer actual interval cardio sessions. You got to make time. You cannot find it. You cannot replace it. You got to make it. I was surprised to find myself stronger when I went to the gym. Went twice this week, and it was my first time lifting weights. Was shocked to be lifting more. Well, probably because you've been doing the Zoom classes, because that will help to maintain your strength. Still not really losing much weight, though. Only down 5.5 pounds since the beginning. Okay, well, you know, and I'm speaking to you, this person specifically, that I made extra changes to your calories, right? Okay, so let's see what happens. This person writes, it was my birthday week, so I had a few cheats. They were very worth it. They were not worth it. In 16 days from now, they will not be worth it. I always say, like when I crave something, I want to eat something, I'm like, you eat it and then what? You eat it and then what? It's done. It's like now you got to deal with the repercussions, right? So it's not to say that you can't reward yourself, obviously, but you know, you got to set some boundaries. Staying on track for the remainder of the challenge. Should we be taking a veggie supplement? Like a green supplement, I'm assuming you're talking about. I would try to eat vegetables. You know, like, there's certainly nothing wrong with taking a veggie supplement. They are still a relatively new product on the market. They've only been out for maybe, to my knowledge, maybe about 15 years. Okay, and you might think that's a long time, but there hasn't really been any, that I know of, really any studies on it to see if there's really a big change. But I don't think it would hurt to take one, and I do take one. I take one off and on. I don't always take one. I always take a multivitamin. But when it comes to a veggie supplement, yeah. When your calories are getting low, maybe something. Definitely, I would encourage you to take more of, or that would be the time to take one. Costco, I don't know if the quality's good. Obviously, I'm going to venture to say it's probably not good. However, I am using Costco brand of glucosamine, MSM, and chondroitin for my knee, and it really works well. So I'm not going to really dispute the quality of that if I notice a difference. But when it comes to the veggie supplement, I'm not sure. But I wanted to say that the veggie supplement at Costco seems to be pretty darn potent when you look at the label, and it's not cheap either. Pretty darn potent. But I use the one that I sell, which is pharmaceutical grade, which means exactly what's on the label is in the product. So if you want that, let me know. Okay? It's called Performance Greens by Magnum. Okay, 8 minutes. Message of the day. And this comes back to the person that was golfing and didn't do their intervals. There ain't nothing to it but to do it. This comes from probably the greatest bodybuilder who ever lived, Ronnie Coleman. If not the greatest, one of the greatest, but most people would call him the GOAT. He was actually on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think yesterday, and that was just released today. So if you search Ronnie Coleman and the JRE podcast, if you like Joe Rogan's podcast, it's kind of a funny interview. But his saying is so true. There ain't nothing to it but to do it. Don't give yourself the option of thinking about whether you should do it or not. I am aware of when I do this. Okay, I am human as well. I am aware. So, for example, tonight I came home. I was tired. Had to make food. Hadn't even done the video of the day. And I'm like, hey, I gotta do another 25 minutes of cardio. And then I know when these little things slip in my mind, it's like, well, you already did 45 minutes today, and I made a change to my diet. And you make a change to your diet today. Nah, maybe you don't. So I know when these things start to enter my mind, right? I'm like, no, okay? You cannot let these little thoughts go into your mind. You've got to say no, and that's what I did, and then I forced myself to do it. I'm like, no, I already set out, this was my plan, this is what I'm going to do, I'm not changing my plan. Plus, I want to win this challenge I'm having with my friends, so So it's like you cannot give yourself the option. You need to be aware of this. You need to be aware of it, and like anything, if it's important enough to you, you will do it. I'll say it again. If it's important enough to you, okay, barring some sort of catastrophe, like an earthquake or somebody dies in your family, okay, like the obvious stuff, you will find a way. You will get up earlier, you will go to bed later, you will find a way, you will do it. You will do it. If it's important enough to you, you will do it. Ask yourself this. Well, I know this with myself. If there's anything that I really wanted to do in my life, I did it. I found a way to do it and I just did it, okay? So where there's a will, there's a way. But coming back to the message of the day, if there ain't nothing to it but to do it, so just decide when you're going to do it and just do it. Don't allow yourself to think about it. Do not allow yourself to think about it. Do not start to get these thoughts in your mind where you can say, I'll do it later. I'll slough it off to tomorrow, because it will not happen, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Day 54 wrap up. 16 days to go. 16 days to go. How many hours is that? Can you do math for me here? That is what, 324 times 16, 384 hours, right? Is that 80? Did I do the math right on that? I'll do the math after it, see if I'm right. 384 hours to go, or thereabouts. I'll talk to you guys all very soon. See ya. Oh, wait a second. You got to submit and commit. You got to submit and commit, right? Are you? Make sure you do. Submit and commit. Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself, of course, as always. There's no good reason why you shouldn't. And for the love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.